Sonia's going to hate that I'm about to do this, but I'm going to talk a little bit about her. You know, she was really worried. She sings in Spanish all the time. And she's singing 2 English words today, and she says, I'm so sorry that the words are sometimes hard to understand. But the words and the language of love, whether we're talking, and be careful when you say the word ship. The language of love is at a deeper place. Beneath the surface of the ocean is the language of something so profoundly beautiful. It's because whether she's singing in Spanish or English or Portuguese or the 15 other languages that she speaks, she stands before you and says, I am here to be seen. And with all the stuff that we do here at Unity North, it's all commentary. It's all effect. And in Unity, we talk about cause. We want to live at the level of cause, not the level of the effects, all the trappings of the human condition are wonderful distractions. The language is a wonderful distraction from the state of just simply being. Open your arms with me and allow yourself to be fully open today. Are you committed to being completely open, completely you, completely the magnificent presence of Christ that you are? Here to be seen. I want you to be seen. On the hero's journey, the song talked about all the diamonds, all the pearls, all the baubles and bangles and beads, all the trappings of the human world. And we've been on a hero's journey here at Unity North, and we're on the home stretch. You're probably saying, thank God, he's not going to talk about the hero's journey anymore. It started January 1. In the month of May, we are sliding into home head first. And the last part of every hero's journey is to take the treasure, that which has been gained as we face the dragons, that which we gained when we went into the cave of our own inner world and began to get treasure. Oh, but treasure is not baubles, bangles, and beads. The master teacher told us, lay up for yourself where treasures in heaven. Where did he say heaven was? Within. You see, the treasure, the true treasure, is beneath the surface, because that which is baubles, bangles, and beads and trappings and human conditioning, human constructs, it fades, it rusts, the moths eat it till it is no more. But the true journey is the hero bringing back to the village, bringing back to the community, bringing back to the world who they have become on the journey. You cannot measure it with human constructs. It is more valuable than jewels and diamonds and gold. Who have I become on this journey? Who have I stepped fully into being? Who have I remembered myself to be? That's way down deep. And the only way that that treasure will ever be shared is to live life wide open, fully present to that miracle. Today, I want to dive beneath the ocean. And apologies in advance if it's anything that I'm criticizing of the human trappings that is offensive to you. Just throw something at me. Here's the foundation I want to build a house upon today. Quote number 1. This is from a man named Robert Lind. I invite you to say it with me. There are 2 sorts of curiosity, the momentary and the permanent. The momentary is concerned with the odd appearance on the surface of things. The permanent is attracted by the amazing and consecutive life that flows on beneath the surface of things. Our job, every time we come together, every class, every workshop, every service, is to go beneath the surface of things and see the amazing life of God. Now, sometimes it's hard to see that because the exteriors look a little rough, a little shaky on the outside. And that reminded me of a time I was up in Portland, Oregon. I lived there for many years of my life. And friends called us and said, there's this great 5-star restaurant that's just opened up in the country. You want to go? I never turned down a free meal. So we put it in the GPS, put the address for this beautiful, elegant dining experience, got all dressed up to the nines, which doesn't happen very often in my household. And off we drove to the country. And it kept saying, you have arrived. There was nothing there. You had that experience, don't you? You have arrived. Nothing was in the field. So we turned around, made the proverbial U-turn, went back down. You have arrived. What? You have arrived. All that was there is back into the forest was a dilapidated old shack that looked like it had not been inhabited for probably 20 years. No signage, a dirt gravel pathway that looked like it had not been traveled for a while, and a dirt parking lot. That possibly can't be it. So what did we do? We got very human. U-turn. You have arrived. Nope. U-turn. You have arrived. Nope. We finally saw somebody walking along the side of the path. We were ready to give up our journey for the treasure that was there. And he said, where is this 5-star restaurant we've heard about? Well, I've been watching you. You've gone by it 12 times. And he said, just drive back there and go open up the door. But there's no sign. Go back there and open up the door. All right, so we drove into this driveway. There was a few cars there. Had to get a handkerchief to turn the knob. It was so dirty and dusty and rusty. And we opened up the door. Ah! Heaven on earth, the most elegant restaurant I have ever eaten in my life. And as good and as beautiful as the decor was, the table was immaculately set with white linen and white tablecloths and candles. The food was even better. And it makes me ask the question, how many meals have I missed because I did not recognize on the exterior that which was good and profoundly on the inside, calling for my attention? How many times have I judged the outside, the book by the cover, and just drove on by and did not ask for the directions to get the GPS, the internal guidance system within me that says, look deeper. Stop, pause, ask for directions. You want to put spirituality into a little box? That's it. Stop, look, listen, ask directions, and then turn the handle and go in. Beyond the exterior. Those difficult people in your life, stop, look, listen, turn the handle, and look deeper. Look into the heart. At the microcosmic level, there are people that have been cast aside, thrown away in your life. People that you said, well, I like these people, but I don't like those people. Stop, look, listen, turn the handle. That which looks like a shabby old shack, run down, uninhabited, is inhabited with light, is inhabited with Christ, with the presence and power of God. At the macrocosmic level, let's take it to a greater picture today. Our world religions. If I look at the scope of the planet today, religion has done more to divide our humanity than anything else on the planet. Let's just get real. And as I look to the future, one thing I have learned in my history classes, that those who do not pay attention to history are bound to repeat it. There are over 30,000 Christian denominations on the planet. We're one of them. Over 30,000. And most of them say, we've got a corner on the market of truth. We have the truth. The rest of you, 29,999 denominations, you got it all wrong. You're all screwed up. Anybody heard that before? Everybody thinks that God is only operating in their church, the way they do worship, the way they do the spiritual experience, the way they do spiritual community. The time has come to stop it and to devise a new way of relating and connecting with each other beyond the borders and the boundaries of human constructs that says right and wrong, of God, of the devil. By the way, for those of you who are new, there is no devil in unity. Sometimes I'm accused of being the devil. But the reality is there is no good or bad. The human constructs have gotten in the way of the oneness that we talk about. It's gotten in the way of the oneness that we desire. So one day, there was a jogger, and he was going on the Golden Gate Bridge. He's going to go for a jog on the Golden Gate Bridge, and he saw a man on the other side of the rail getting ready to jump, and he said, no, don't do it. And the jumper said, why? Nobody loves me. And the jogger said, God loves you. Do you believe in God? Well, yeah. So do I. So do I. So, are you a Christian, a Jew, Muslim? Well, I'm Christian. Me too. Me too. Oh, this is great. What denomination are you? Oh, I'm Baptist. Unbelievable. We found each other. I'm Baptist too. That's amazing. So are you Southern Baptist or Northern Baptist? He said, well, I'm Northern Baptist. Oh, man. Me too. Me too. Are you Northern Conservative or Northern Liberal Baptist? I'm Northern Liberal Baptist. Unbelievable. Me too. Are you Northern Liberal Baptist Council of 1914 or of 1943? Council of 1914. And the jogger said, oh, you're nothing but a heretic, and he pushed him off the bridge. Religious leaders have been pushing people off the bridge for too long. And We've been engaged in a perpetual search for that which separates us, that which has divided us, and we have compartmentalized the search and the hunger and the thirst for God in such a way that if we continue these paths, the world will be more divided, more fragmented, and more compartmentalized than it has ever been 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Master teacher said, lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven. Those treasures are within. We need to look beyond the human constructs of gospels and books and holy sayings and workshops and teachers. This teacher's better than this teacher. No, that teacher is God and so is that teacher. And somehow we put these together and there's a greater understanding, little pieces, mirrors of truth coming together to create a greater and more magnificent truth. Humanity has created God in our image. And the time has come to reverse the process. Anne Lamott puts it this way. I love the way she puts this. Let's put that next quote up there, please. Let's read it together. You can safely assume you've created God in your own image when it turns out that God hates all the same people you do. There is not going to be peace on this planet until there is peace among the world religions. And there will not be peace amongst our world religions until one of two things happen. We either look beyond the effects, the exterior of our religions, and get to the living water that's underneath, or we break down all the constructs of religion and start fresh and new with the idea of kindness, with the idea of love, with the idea of generosity, with the idea of equality, with the idea of we belong to each other. When words like you have to, God always, the only way, we've always done it this way, I hear that one at Unity. Oh, and don't question, when these phrases creep into your spirituality, it is a clear indication that at some level you have created God in your image. And the constructs need to be broken down. Every book, every teacher, every prophet, every sage, every workshop, every teacher is nothing more than a road sign. A road marker saying, look this way. Like the guys at the airport. Go this way. Religion has made the person with the lights home. No, the lights are pointing you in the direction of home. The direction of home. That which is beneath the surface is more profound than any book, than any wise teacher. And I don't think any of the prophets would ever argue with that. I think Jesus somewhere is looking down going, you screwed it all up. You messed it all up. Remember the truth. Look beyond the shack. Turn the handle and go within. There's a dining experience that you're missing. There's something so beautifully profound in a meal that is beyond anything that any of you have even ever thought of. Get that meal. Stop and ask the directions and go within. You see a bunch of bottles up here. They're all different. They're all unique. This is the metaphor I want you to play with this week. They're all beautiful in their own right, all different. And inside all of these containers is the same water. How do I know? Because I put it in there. I'm going to check, make sure it's still water. You think it's water, it's vodka. It's the same water, and the world has gone around for far too long saying, no, I can only drink water out of a purple bottle with little spots all over it, because it's so much prettier than your little red mug. And that's how ridiculous this is. Let me tell you, if you're in the desert and you were dying of thirst, are you really going to say, you know, I just can't drink out of a Coca-Cola glass? I would rather die. I don't think so, but that's how ridiculous we have come as religious people. Let me taste the water that you are offering me. It tastes very similar to my water. But no, we argue about I can only drink out of a blue bottle, a red bottle, or out of a mug. And the world is going thirsty. We are standing knee-deep in water and dying of thirst. That's an old song. I think Karen Taylor Good wrote that. We are standing knee-deep in water. And we're dying of thirst. And you think sometimes that we're in unity, we're evolved. He's just giving a talk for the other people. I like to call language out. I like to call it out. And so let me just call it out. Many paths, one God. One of the statements that we say all the time around here. Many paths, one God. just not that one. Calling us out. Many paths, one God, just not the one that hurt me. Many paths, one God, just not the one that I don't understand. Many paths, one God, just not the one that has been absconded with, kidnapped, and taken away, and made to mean something it does not mean at the core. The time has come to change the focus from the container to the living water that's on the inside. Let's make it more personal. There's a basic unity tenet, a basic unity principle. Everybody has a spark of the divinity within them. Everybody is a unique, beautiful expression of Christ. You've heard it 100 times already this morning. Yes, that's a wonderful truth, and it feels so good. Yet, when you look at the language, there's a consciousness underneath that needs to be cleaned. Everybody is a beautiful light of God, just not them. Everybody is a magnificent expression of Christ, just not the one that hurt me. Everybody is God incarnate at a deep soul, beautiful place, just not that jerk. That SOB, I almost said a different word. Please forgive me, Father. And the reality is, it's the same water in all people, and our job as spiritual people is to seek the water, not the container. And the minute we are focused on the container, we are creating a sense of duality. I would love to see a world where water is just shared and shared and shared, and we're all getting drunk on something more beautifully profound than any gospel, than any book. Yep, still the same water. And when we can do that, we change the dialogue. When we start playing in the water, we're changing the focus of where we are looking. We're changing the focus of what is truly important to what unity says is really important. You change the focus, you then start changing the conversation between us. And when you change the conversation, we change the direction of where we are going as a culture, where we are going as a humanity. That 1 degree little shift is going to put us in a different place if you follow it down the road. I want to be in a new place. I don't want to repeat the same patterns that have gotten us to where we are today. The hero is the one that creates the future and not the one that is forever arguing about the status quo. And if you think we're immune, let me just make it more personal. On any given Sunday, there are 5 or 6 people in this room that are more concerned with what I'm wearing than what I said. Oh, you think it's funny? I wore jeans. I got emails. I wore a 3-piece suit. I got emails. And if I have a particularly bad talk, all I have to do is put on purple socks. And they'll come up and say, "Oh, good morning. I love your socks." Some of you noticed today he doesn't have purple socks on today. I don't have pink, green, red socks. Does it really matter? It's the same water I'm sharing. I want to be seen. Not by what I'm wearing, not for what I'm wearing, not for what you're wearing, not for what you believe or what your history was or what your doctrine is. I want you to be seen for the magnificent spirit that you are. We simply have to stop looking at 21st century spirituality through the lens of a first century mind. And that feels easy, that feels good. Well, let me make it more current. We have to quit looking at 21st century spirituality through the lens of a 20th century mind. You have to be somebody different. Unity is designed as an evolving spirituality. We took the lid off and said, grow and become. Don't get stuck in Fillmorian teaching only. Yes, use it as a magnificent, beautiful, powerful road sign that says, look this way. And then go that way and discover the living water for yourself, not through Fillmore's lens. I can only get my truth through Charles Fillmore. I can only get my truth through Jesus. I can only get my truth through Buddha. And the world stands knee-deep in water and dies of thirst. I want to put a quote up there. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. So the one that says love is the most powerful, can you put that up there for me? There, no, keep going. I'm skipping on. There we go. Say this with me, please. Love is... Doesn't that feel good? You believe that? Say it again then, like you mean it. Love. I don't believe you yet. Say it like you mean it. Does it matter where that quote came from? Does it matter if Jesus said it? If Fillmore said it? If Ernest Holmes said it? If Buckminster Fuller said it? Does it matter if Krishna said it? Or Muhammad said it? Or my grandmother said that when I was 5 years old? Does it matter that maybe I just made it up and put it up on the screen right there just a moment ago? If it matters, humanity will forever miss the mark of love, which is the only sin on the planet that we teach here. We're missing the mark of love because we're so container-centric that we're not drinking the water. If it doesn't matter who said it, then I'm challenging you to be the living gospel of that, made tangible, audible, visible, in every area of your life. To let the water be shared. Diane's freaking out over there. Let me share a little bit of water. Put a little bit of water on me. Let's share the water, and let's be the living testimony of love. And let my life, the master teacher said, you shall be known by your fruits, not by your ability to quote a gospel, not by your ability to intellectualize the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita. Look this way, but by the being. I am here to be seen. A couple of heroes. Now we can go back to the slides. Martin Luther King Jr., one of my heroes. This is what he said. He had a dream that his children would be judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. Wow, that sounds a lot like quit looking at the bottle and start drinking the beauty that's on the inside. Master teacher Jesus, let's put his quote up there. This is from the New Living Translation. Is there somebody up there? There, let's read this together. Look beneath the surface so you can judge correctly. It's John chapter 7, verse 24. That's the translation that I like the best because it's more accurate to what Jesus was really trying to say. Most translations have the word righteousness in there. And that has been kidnapped and absconded with and bastardized. Righteousness. I am right, you are wrong. It looks like righteous indignation, righteous judgment, righteous rancor, righteous duality. Let's separate a little bit more because right and wrong needs to be there for me to feel comfortable. I'm saying those constructs have to come down. And let's look at the word righteousness. The original etymology of the word righteousness, the original intention of the word righteousness had nothing to do with judgment. It had to do with being right with the divine essence of life. It had to do with being right in mind, in heart, in thinking, in expression and experience with the awareness that God is everywhere present. It had to do with using the faculty of our wisdom. Wise way, this is what it says in the dictionary, in the etymology of the word righteous. The wise way, the genuine way. Living in accordance with divine law. That's all that righteousness means. So, I'm going to invite you to turn a switch in your head and begin to look at that righteous indignation about the person who looks like a shack. Stop and see if you can turn the handle and maybe go inside and find a meal worth eating. In that relationship that's driving you up the wall. In that person that just drives you so crazy that you want to scratch your eyeballs out. Turn the handle, look a little bit deeper, have the courage and the strength, the commitment to the spiritual path that we teach to not judge and to watch those words coming out of your mouth. Many paths, one God, just not that one. Everyone's beautiful and divine, just not that one. Just that, not that one is rampant in our society. And until we overcome it, we're going to be right back here again in 10 years having the same dialogue. Drink, and drink deeply. Jesus and Martin Luther King are two heroes that absolutely pointed us in the direction of a greater reality, a greater truth. So did Dave Barry. Dave Barry is a humorist. Here's what Dave Barry had to say. I love this one. Come up for a little bit of air here. Together. Focusing only on the exterior is like going to the circus and only seeing the outside of the tent. I'm a kid at heart. I love the circus. And I would be in tears as a child if all I was doing was looking at the outside of the circus and hearing that there was magic and mystery on the inside. There's something magnificently beautiful on the inside, but no, I'm just going to stay on the outside. Spirituality is an inside experience. It's an inside the tent experience, and sometimes it looks like clowning and being silly and making jokes. Good, you can drink that water. Sometimes it looks like deep spiritual, intellectual discourse. Drink that water and know it's the same water in the fun, in the play, in the intellectualizing. But at the deepest part, the magic of the tent that is you, the magic of the tent that is Unity North and the Unity Movement, the magic of the tent that is every church that's meeting today. It's on the inside. Check your judgment at the door. Check your baggage at the door. And walk into any relationship and say, I'm here to be seen. I'm here to be fully seen. And I'm here to suspend anything that would get in the way of me seeing you. So work with the signs that you have, the books that you have, or deconstruct all of it and come to the place where you are the living expression of kindness, of love, of generosity, of understanding, of compassion. Because that is the treasure that we want to bring back to the village. That is the circus I want to live in. That is the meat. That is the essence. That is the Christ. That is the Buddha. That is the core. That is screaming at the center of humanity for our attention today. And maybe take a look at any given Sunday here where the words come, he didn't wear purple socks. He didn't mention Charles Fillmore enough. He didn't talk about Jesus enough. He talked about Jesus too much. You know, it's funny, but it's not so funny. It exists in the field. How would it be if we just came together and nobody said a word and all the human constructs didn't get in the way and we stood there emotionally, mentally, spiritually, not physically, naked? Breathe that in for a minute. That's where the living water is. We're going to go into a time of meditation now. And during this meditation, you know, some of you came in and said, oh, it looks like they're serving communion today. And the neener monkey mind went crazy. Do I leave? We have guests here from Alabama. They weren't too sure about this cold here. They're going to serve communion. We do serve communion, but not the way you've always experienced communion. And we have no wine and bread. What we have is living water. And every container here, over there, and over there, the containers are different, but it's the same living water. And we can begin to play a little bit of music behind. We're going to have a ritual. And ritual, for ritual's sake, is a waste of time. It's not even an entertainment. I'm going to ask you to walk up here to get a cup and to drink the water. But let it be an outward sign of an inward visible commitment. And maybe bring to mind somebody in your life. There needs to be some healing. There needs to be some forgiveness. There needs to be a deeper view. There needs to be an opportunity to be one. Pick up that cup and bring that person to mind, or that religion to mind, or that circumstance to mind, or that condition to mind, and go, we are one. Don't just do it for the sake of I asked you to do it, and you don't have to do it if you don't want to. We don't have those kinds of rules here. But you are the face of God. I am the face of God. We are the face of God. And so we're going to use that song to go into this time of reflection, of peace, of stillness. And let me tell you, I don't take this easy. I don't take this lightly. I know how hard it is for you. Some of you have been cut to the core. You have been hurt to the core. And that person I'm asking you to think about as you drink that water, everything within your human ego and mind and history says, I can't do it. God moves. If you can just be with that and go, this water will cleanse me of that which is untrue about myself. This water will cleanse me of what is untrue about that behavior, that situation, and that circumstance. Let's put the lyrics up there. And I want to thank the people in the booth. I jumped all around during this talk today. God was moving, I guess, today. I thank them for being so flexible. Thank you, Iris. Let's take this and bring the lights down, and let's take these words into the depth of every cell of our being and let the water of the words begin to cleanse us.